Hi, my munchkins, and welcome back to Miss Patty's Kitchen. I so hope you've had a good week this week. Let's think back to the last time we got together, and we said we were going to start studying what? Do you remember? Think real hard. What were we going to study? The women of the Bible. That's why Miss Patty put this lady doll out, so that would kind of help you with a hint. Well, do you remember what her name was? Her name was Deborah. Now, you're also looking at Miss Patty and going, Miss Patty, you look a little weird, dressed like a judge on TV next to a palm tree. Well, Deborah was sort of like a judge, and she had a favorite place that she liked to go. She was also a prophetess. Now, that's a big, long word. And a prophetess is someone who God talks to a lot and tells them what to do. Well, guess what? Deborah was also the leader of the Israelites. Do you believe that? She was the leader. She's kind of like the president. So let's read about Deborah. The leader of Israel at this time was a woman called Deborah. She used to sit under one particular palm tree so that everyone knew where to come for help or advice. One day, Deborah sent for a man called Barak. Barak, God has told me to tell you to go get an army together to fight against the Canaanites and their commander, Sisera. In spite of his chariots and all of his horses and all of his men, God will help you win the battle. Barak was terrified. He was like, oh no, I'm not doing that. He said, and I'm not going unless you go with me. Well, very well, Deborah agreed, but women will win this battle, not the men. Barak invited his troops living near to send volunteers to fight. Then he lined up his men on top of a hill where Sisera's chariots would find it difficult to move easily. Sisera, with all of his chariots, waited in the valley below. Then Deborah, not Barak, Deborah gave the command to Barak. March forward. Today, God will give you a victory against Sisera. With great courage, the Israelite soldiers streamed down the hill to what seemed certain death at the hands of the waiting Canaanite army. Oh, can you just imagine all the men marching down with their swords and their breastplates and trying to have their shields, and they're marching and the horses are coming and the chariots are rolling. You could just see the dust flying. Well, guess what happened? You ready? At that moment, rain began to fall. Barak and his men moved easily through the heavy downpour, but the Canaanites in their heavy chariots soon began to get skitty, and they would stick in the mud, and they couldn't move. Think about that. God said they were going to win. Instead of chasing and overtaking the Israelites, Sisera's men were trapped in their chariots at the mercy of the faster-moving Israelite soldiers. Barak won a mighty triumph that day thanks to Deborah's help. And another woman was going to make a victory against Sisera. Now Sisera, when he saw all of the other army coming and killing his people, he ran away. He ran away. Well, he ran away to the friend of Deborah. And that friend was Jael. Well, Jael knew who he was. And she invited him into a tent. And she fed him, and he said, don't let anybody know that I'm here. You know, I'm going to leave and go back and do all this. Well, she knew what she had to do. Well, Jael killed Sisera. Not the men. A woman killed the great commander of the Canaanites. So, in wrapping this up, men and women both can have great victories in God if they just pay attention to God. And that's the other thing. Deborah's name can also mean overcoming all trials, because God's plans will always be there and be good for us. So, I hope you've enjoyed this about Deborah and Jael, okay? And I hope you like my palm tree. So, keep what? Coughing in your elbows, sneezing in your elbows, washing your hands for 20 seconds. Remember, say your prayers before you go to bed, before you eat. And remember that Jesus loves you, and so does Miss Patty, and I will see you later. So you have a good day. Bye-bye.